What is up, guys? Now, this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while. My top 12 favorite action movies of all time. Now, if you're still with this video, which not many are, I just want you to enjoy, and I want you to comment down below what your thoughts are on my list and what your list is of your top 10, top 12, top 20. I will be doing a top 50 best action films, in my opinion, my top 50 favorite action films of all time in the future. But right now, we'll just settle for the top 12. Now, I get it. When I do the top 50, it's kind of anticlimactic because you're already going to know what the number one choice is, and the number 10, and 9, and 8, and so on, so on, so on, so on. But I just wanted to get this video out for you guys because I thought it was fun, and it was just something I really, really wanted to do. I've been having trouble lately. That's why I haven't gotten any reviews up yet. Hopefully that changes soon, but we will see. But let's get started, shall we? Number 12, Terminator 2. Terminator 2, what more is there to say about Terminator that has not been said or that you haven't read already? It's an amazing movie, an all-out classic, action-packed, beautiful practical effects, great CGI, a phenomenal villain, a phenomenal direction by James Cameron. Just a movie that had a budget behind it, a movie that has a great, phenomenal continuation of the Terminator story from Terminator 1. You got Sarah Connor, you got John Connor as a boy. All the action scenes are awesome. The chase scene from the mall all the way to the fucking road where Arnold saves the boy. There's just so much to love about Terminator 2 that I will get in depth when I review these films. Most of these films I haven't even reviewed for you guys, but I will in the future. Terminator 2 is just a classic, and clearly Arnold's best film by many people. My favorite film of Arnold will always be Predator. I do prefer Predator over Terminator 2, but Terminator 2 is my second favorite Arnold film that he's ever made because Terminator 2 is Terminator 2. I love this movie since I was a kid. Still love it to this day. It's a classic. It's a classic. It's got to be on your list. If Terminator 2 is not on your list, I don't know why. I have no idea why. Your top 100, your top 50, your top 10, whatever the case may be. Number 11. This one is actually going to come as a shocker to you guys. Well, that and a few others. Blade 2. Blade 2, the thing with Blade 2 is that it's an incredible movie. And as a kid, I remember that I was at a pawn shop or something, right? And I wanted to get a movie. I was with my father at the time, and I was a little kid. I was like 6, 7, maybe younger, who knows. And I wanted to get a movie to watch. And I happened to pick Blade 2 out of the shelf. Blade 2 was there. It was in great shape. No, it was scratch-free, and someone just left it there. I mean, someone just gave it up for sale, and I bought it. And then the first thing I did is I went home, I plugged it in, I watched it, and I just fucking fell in love because I never saw action done like that, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got other films like the Rambo films and Cobra, but outside of those guys, outside of Arnold, Sly, Bruce Willis, even Dolph Lundgren, for certain films that I watched of his growing up, action had never been done besides all those guys that I just named, man. Action like that was just insane because the creatures, the Reapers, they looked amazing. They look scary. It looks so real. The movie has a bunch of amazing practical effects mixed in with some CGI. There's so many fight scenes. There's great musical choices. Name of the Game, which is my favorite scene from the movie, just beating the shit out of every single one of those familiars. So many cool shots. Great usage of slow-mo in certain parts. So much action. It's bloody. It's violent. It's brutal. And get this, man. Blade is my hero. You know, guys from today, and I'm a guy that was born during this time period. People love Black Panther. You hear everyone talking about Black Panther this, Black Panther that. Oh, you hear people all over school, all over the world. When I used to go to school, people would just be referencing and repeating those stupid lines from Black Panther. Wakanda Forever or whatever other shit that the movie had, you know what I mean? And I don't get it because Black Panther gets praised for everything that Blade and Blade 2 should get praised for. So Blade 2 is one of the most underrated movies of all time, period, bar none. Blade 2 it's a classic, man. I mean, Blade 2 is incredible. You got a great villain, a phenomenal continuation, so much action. You get gunplay, you get martial arts, you get fight scenes, you get great musical choices, you get beautiful shots. You get great characters like Blade. You get Chris Christopherson back as Whistler, which I love. You know, you got Nomak, a phenomenal villain that I love. You got phenomenal fight scenes under the sewers in the club. In the end, when Blade has to go one on one with Nomak as a final battle. You know, I love that movie to death. I will get in depth in the future when I review these films individually. But yeah, Blade 2 is my number 11. Extremely underrated. As a kid, this was the coolest movie ever. And it still is to this day, man. It's still one of the coolest movies ever. I love Blade 2 to death, and I'm giving it this respect because I love it and because I think it deserves it. Okay, number 10. This one might be a shocker to you guys. Ombok. Ombok starring Tony Jaa, a film from what year was it? 2003? 2003, I believe. 2003, 2005, somewhere around there. As a kid, I was introduced to Tony Jaa with The Protector. That's how I got to know Tony Jaa. I was, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, somewhere around there. He showed me The Protector, and I was just so awed by The Protector. I fell in love with The Protector, and it, because I never saw martial arts being done the way that Tony Jaa used it. You know, I never seen people just go jumping and throwing flying knees, jumping kicks, and elbows, spinning elbows, and so much beautiful usage of Muay Thai. Like, I never saw that. I never saw martial arts being shown or displayed in that way before, with that brutality, with that beauty. And Tony Jaa is just a guy that you just connect with naturally as a hero, as this badass motherfucker, because he is. A phenomenal flick, man. I just love this. This is probably my favorite martial arts film. That and The Protector. The Protector was number 10, but I changed my mind on it because I saw both films recently, and I got to go towards Ombok just by a little bit, not by much. But Ombok is Ombok. You know, beautiful fight scenes. Every single stunt that you see in the movie, Tony Jaa did. I love the chasing through the market. I love the fight scene. The fight scenes in the fucking club where he's just trying to go there and find the guy that took Ombok and going around the streets. I love the fight scenes there. I love the fight scenes in the cave at the end where he's just using all these weapons and he's just using all his skills. I love the musical choices for the film. I think this film is incredible. I would love a re-release in theaters of Ombok so that I can go and see it. Just how they re-released Rockies 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 in the theaters, which I got to see. I got to see Rocky 2, Rocky 4, Rocky 6, and those films are, without a doubt, my favorite movie experiences that I've ever had. Those are the best movie experiences that I've ever had after Rambo 4 that I got to go see with my father in the year of 2008 when it got first released in January. Nothing will ever top watching Rambo 4 in the theater, unless somehow, some way they managed to re-release Rambo 4 or re-release Rambo 3 in theaters, which I doubt is going to happen, but if they did it for Rocky, why not Rambo, right? That's just me. But yeah, Ombok is a classic. I love the fight scenes. I love Tony Jaa. He's in his prime, kicking ass. He does all his own stunts. I love the part where his legs are on fire. He's just twirling his legs, kicking motherfuckers around. I love the usage of the elbows at the end fight scene with the guy that's just injecting himself with fucking steroids and all that and all that shit. I love that. Ombok is a martial arts classic. It is the pinnacle of Muay Thai. As a guy that does mixed martial arts, I do mixed martial arts. Ombok is Ombok. It should definitely rank as one of your favorite martial arts films. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a must-see. I have the DVD for it. I don't have the Blu-ray. We'll see if I pick that up in the future. Who knows, but Ombok is Ombok. Number 9. Now this one is going to come as a shock to you guys why it's kind of low, which it's not, because it's in my top 10, right? Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator from 1987, an all-out classic, man. I mean, what more is there to say about Predator? Predator is one of my favorite movies growing up. It's just a movie that you can just rewatch over and over and over and over again and never get sick of. You're just going to enjoy the magic that's unfolding before your eyes, in front of your eyes. Just such a phenomenal flick. I mean, Arnold, I'm pretty sure that this is a story regarding Predator. Arnold saw how successful and how amazing of a movie Aliens was. And I think that in some ways, Arnold would have rather James Cameron pick him as as the main guy from Aliens to be the main lead along with Ripley Hicks. I think that Arnold kind of would have loved to get the role of Hicks in Aliens, and he could have gotten it. So I don't know why James Cameron didn't go with Arnold as Hicks, but Hicks will always be Kyle Reese from Terminator. Like it will always be him, no matter what. No matter what, that will always be Hicks to me. But I think that Arnold wanted to make another movie like that, a monster feature movie, a creature, a horror science fiction action movie like Aliens. Predator is a classic. I love this movie so much. I mean, from the score, the brilliant score by Alan Silvestri, the awesome action scenes. Now, granted, there's not like this isn't a fast paced, kick ass, all out action movie where you're getting action every 2 seconds. But when the action is there, it means something and it's awesome, bro. Where the whole entire rescue squad is just fucking mowing down the fucking jungle with their weapons. The part in the village where they're just killing all these motherfuckers, practical blood scripts all over the place, explosions. With that great fucking score, like I said, great music, great practical use of the jungle. Because let me tell you something, there have been many movies that have tried to make a great movie in the jungle, and there haven't been many that have been able to succeed. You got the Rambo films, all of them that took place in the jungle. You got Tears of the Sun, and amongst countless others that just were not able to have an amazing movie in the jungle. And these guys made the best. They made the best movie possible in a jungle, bro. They didn't have countless ounces of access to technology, computers, and all this other shit, man. It was nature. It was all nature. Predator was a film that was made in the jungle, and they had to do the best that they could with what they had, which is just a bunch of trees, leaves, grass, animals, and all that other shit. They had to bust their ass to give us an amazing movie, and they did, because I can't recall a movie that is located in the jungle and was this amazing, guys. I just can't, except for the Rambo films, of course. But Predator, you got the score, you got a badass character lead, you got great characters, Mac, Billy, Poncho, Blaine, Dylan, a CIA slime, but he dies in an awesome way. He redeems himself. You got the amazing Predator design. I love the fight scene. I love the ending. I love the trap. This is Dutch setting up the traps because he's gonna go on a final fight with the Predator and avenge his team. I love the opening where the ship is coming down. You see it, and then they just launch the fucking Predator into the fucking jungle, into Earth. I love the way it starts with the opening where they just shake hands. That's a shake hand. That's the handshake that ended racism. A phenomenal movie, phenomenal intro, phenomenal score, phenomenal action. I love Predator, bro. And I know that this movie was a pain in the fucking ass. I know that this movie was absolute hell trying to film, but it's still an amazing movie that everyone loves. It is definitely one of my favorites. Like I said, this is probably my favorite Arnold film. It's always between Predator and Terminator 2, but I do think that Predator is a classic, and it's kind of Arnold's own film in the sense that everyone sees Arnold as the Terminator, as a guy that can't act and that is only a robot. He can only play a cyborg, right? He can only play the Terminator. Well, here Arnold is acting. Arnold is working physically in a different way because he has to. He's facing a monster. He's not. He's kind of the prey now. And there's a bigger, badder hunter. And it's amazing to unfold. You got some great kills. You got great usage of the jungle, beautiful shots, a brilliant direction by John McTiernan, John McTiernan, yeah. Who the following year would also make Die Hard, which is another classic. But yeah, that is most definitely my number 9. I love Predator. Amazing movie. Number 8, one of the most underrated sequels of all time, Die Hard 2. Die Harder. One of my favorite movies ever. This movie just speaks to me. Ever since I was a little kid, I went to an FYE store with my mom, and I wanted to get a movie. We went to FYE, and back then, FYE, man, that shit was loaded as a motherfucker, bro. You had action movies, you had wrestling, you had horror, you had everything, bro. And the DVDs were actually pretty brand new. And I saw all 3 Die Hard films. I saw all 3 Die Hard films on there, 1, 2, and 3, and I wanted to get the Die Hard. She said that I could only get one thing, and I already had my mind locked on getting Die Hard. but I wanted the Die Hard film that had the most action and that was the longest one, the longest running time, because I love John McClane. John McClane is my second favorite action icon after John Rambo. I love John McClane. So I grew up watching all three, but the first one that I bought on DVD and the one that I watched the most growing up, even still to this day, was Die Hard 2. Because Die Hard 2 had the fight on the wing of an airplane, which is awesome, and it was a long flick. I love Die Hard 2, so let me just explain why. People talk all the time about the first Die Hard having a Christmas setting, and it feeling like a Christmas movie. But Die Hard 2 was always a film that felt more like a Christmas movie than the first Die Hard, because it's snowing and it also feels claustrophobic. Even though McClane is going in and out of the airport, it feels claustrophobic. It really does. It feels more like a Christmas movie, just because of the snow and just because you actually get to see Christmas trees, more Christmas trees. I love the Anakin Skywalker action scene. I love the sound of the bullets. I love how badass that scene is. That's one of my favorite action scenes ever. I love the opening where he's just there fighting these two guys back and forth, and then I love it. I love his dialogue. What is this? A fucking tag team? What is this? A tag team? He punches a motherfucker, and then he gets smushed in. I like how John McClane is just a guy that doesn't want to play the hero. He doesn't even want to be there, but he does it because he has no other choice. That's who he is, and that's what he does. That's his job. I love the fact that they brought Holly McClane back from the first one. I like how they were able to squeeze in Sergeant Apollo into a little scene, which is cool to see him. I think that the villain is awesome. I know the villain gets so much shit. Everyone talks about Alan Rickman, and he is a better villain, and Jeremy Irons from Die Hard 3, which he does a great job. But I think that the villain in Die Hard 2 is probably my favorite. Him and Hans Gruber are neck and neck. But the thing with this villain is that he has over Alan Rickman and Jeremy Irons in Die Hard 1 and Die Hard 3 is the fact that this guy's a fighter. He can take care of himself. And he's a cold-blooded evil son of a bitch in the fact that he brought down a plane full of men, women, and children, the elderly, and babies, and women, and you name it. He brought a plane full of those people crashing down without giving a fuck, just to prove a point that they are in control and you're not going to fuck around with what we're trying to do, because we will get what we want to do. And he just does not give a fuck. And that's something that he has over the other villains, is the fact that this motherfucker is a cold-blooded son of a bitch. Because Alan Rickman, okay, he wanted to blow up a building, right? He wanted to blow up a building in the first Die Hard film with all those people inside the building. But the thing is I don't remember there being too many little kids and actually being able to do it. Here, Alan Rickman actually does it. I mean, here, the bad guy, Colonel Stewart, is actually able to do it. Something that in the other films we never saw. Like, this movie had the balls to go somewhere with the character that we didn't really see in action movies at this time. 90s and 80s, like, most of the time you get your hero always winning. You get your hero always succeeding, always saving her, always saving him, always saving whoever it is that he's going to save, right? You always see that. But here, I love the direction that they had by Rennie Harlan. I really do like it because they show that the character, our hero, is human. He's just like you. He's just like me. And the fact that he can fail. He fails, and then that's what makes the ending even more satisfying. And I would have died to have seen this movie in the theaters. But like I said, this movie just speaks to me. This is my movie. I connect with this movie. That's why it's my number 8. I love this movie to death. The action scenes are awesome. And here's the granddaddy of them all. You got a great score. You got the Anakin Skywalker action scene, which I love to death. You got great humor in there. You got the asshole cop, fucking Carmine, and I just love how he's just such a fucking asshole to John McClane throughout the movie, and saying, like, for example, and here's the part that just makes me laugh. John McClane, what the fuck do you think you're doing, playing John Wayne, huh? How would you like to spend the rest of the night in the cell? Like, it's just hilarious. Or the part where he says, "This is my little pond now, and I'm the big fish that runs it." So you kept some lowlife. Okay, I'll send your fucking captain into LA, a fucking commendation. Now, in the meantime, you get the hell out of my office and get the hell out of my damn, before I throw you out of my damn airport. Like, I love this movie, man. I love the humor. I love Carmine. I love Colonel Stewart as a villain. He's an underrated villain. I love John McClane's humor. I love the continuation. And for people that shit, before I get to the desserts of it all, I gotta state this: when people talk about Die Hard 2, they talk shit about it because they talk shit about it. Wait, I lost my train of thought. They talk shit about it because they talk shit about it because they say that Die Hard 2 feels like an exact copy of Die Hard 1, but in an airport. And here's the thing with that. I completely disagree, and I'm going to tell you why. If that was real life, right? If you had just saved 30 hostages in a building during Christmas time a year before, and then the next year you're stuck in a fucking airport where you're pretty much in the same situation, it's gonna feel the same. It's gonna like in real life, that would feel the same. You're facing this unstoppable team, right? That's a big, massive threat. You're trying to save your wife. You're trying to find a way to do this and do that, and you're facing guys that are better than you in every way possible, and you're out of your league. So of course it's gonna feel the same. It's gonna feel the same no matter what. It's kind of obvious that it's gonna feel the same. You're gonna see similar things that you saw before. So that's something that I don't really understand. Of course, you're gonna feel the same, and it's gonna look the same kind of in some ways because it's the same thing that's happening. So I could say the same thing about Die Hard 4. Die Hard 4 is just a bigger, badder, better version of Die Hard 3 with more action. So the same thing with Die Hard 2, in my opinion. I prefer Die Hard 2 as my favorite Die Hard. You got the best yippee one-liner motherfucker line. The out of all the 5 times that he said it, this one was the most badass, and this one was the coolest one, the coolest way that he said it in the end. And here's why I love this movie so much is the ending. I think that this is the best ending to any of the Die Hard films, 1 through 4, which are the only good ones. This has the most kick-ass ending and the most kick-ass time that he said, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. You get 2 little fights on the wing of a moving airplane. When was the first and when was the last time you saw that? In this movie. In this movie, you saw 2 guys, John McClane fighting 2 guys, one-on-one with a great score playing while the plane is actually moving on the side of a fucking airplane. That is just so awesome and so cool. You're rooting for John McClane. Then John McClane gets in a fight with Colonel Stewart, gets his ass kicked, gets kicked off the fucking plane. Then McClane is able to just break the fucking, open up the cap of the gasoline. The gasoline starts to spill, and then you got that beautiful score playing, lights up a fucking lighter, and then he says, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Boom! Blows him up in a big, massive explosion, giving the audience that redeeming satisfaction of seeing him blow up for as a way to get revenge on all those people that he killed earlier. And I love it. All these motherfuckers, all these mercenaries just fucking die. I love Die Hard 2. It speaks to me. Phenomenal film. Phenomenal continuation. It feels more like a Christmas movie than the first Die Hard. The ending to no disrespect to the first Die Hard because I love the first Die Hard. But Die Hard 2's ending is better than Die Hard 1's ending. As a matter of fact, I would even go as far as to say is that the Die Hard 2 ending is better than almost every action scene from the very first Die Hard. My opinion, I love this movie. This movie speaks to me. That's why I put it above Predator. And it deserves its ranking. It really does. Number 7. Demolition Man. Demolition Man, easy one of the best action films of the 90s. An underrated Stallone film. A classic film that I love. Ever since I was a kid, I always used to watch this film, and I loved it. I never had a problem with it. It was an addicting film to watch. So much action. Wesley Snipes deserves an Oscar for his portrayal of an amazing, amazing villain that is Simon Phoenix. I love the look. I love the blonde hair. I love the humor. You got a villain with a personality. This movie is just a perfect combination of humor, action, great setting, great tone, great characters, great atmosphere, you name it, great fight scenes, great gunplay, great everything. Stallone was awesome as John Spartan, just kick-ass, badass cop that doesn't give a fuck, you know. He's a Demolition Man. I love the opening scene. I love the humor. Just a phenomenal movie all around. I absolutely adore Demolition Man, one of my favorite movies ever. That's why it's number 7. Out of every action film ever made, this one gets my number 7 spot easily. I can't go too much in depth, but what a classic. Love Demolition Man. Number 6, Cobra. That movie right there. Hang on, guys. Can't get it to focus. There we go. Cobra, the strong arm of the law. Crime is a disease, meet the cure. Cobra is just a kick-ass, fast-paced, all-out action movie that does not give a fuck. It's a movie that it represents the 80s. When there are certain films that come to mind when you think of 80s action and when you think of 80s in general, Cobra is one of those movies. Cobra, I'm gonna tell you what Cobra is. Cobra is a movie that just knows what you want to see. It knows what it is, and it's just gonna give it to you. It knows what you want to see. It knows what you want. It knows what you need, and it's just gonna go out there and give it to you. It's not gonna waste your time. It's gonna be all action, simple plot. A badass cop hero against badass kick-ass villains. Both of those sides do not give a fuck, and all hell is gonna break loose. The opening scene where he just nails this motherfucker with 7 bullets. The scene where he's just beating these three motherfuckers up, right, in his apartment. Shoots 2 and just beats the shit out of the other one. Goes to the fucking hospital with a badass villain that's fucking scary, killing people. And that's the thing that I love about this movie is they don't shy away from the violence, even though it is more violent than when we saw. I would love to get a work print someday. But I love the fact that you get to see the villains kill so many innocent people, man. You get to see him kill females. You get to see him kill men. You get to see him kill the elderly. These bad guys do not give a fuck, and they are fucking insane. They're fucking psychos. I love the part where, in the end, where he's just mowing down these motherfuckers with that great score playing on the back of the pickup truck. Love that. Just a badass character. I love the Cobra gun. I love the score. I love the fact that Sly was in a slasher, horror, action type of movie. I love that. I love the chase scene. The chase scene is the greatest chase scene in action movie history. And yes, I do prefer Cobra over Commando. Cobra is just a kick-ass movie. I love the part where he just lights that motherfucker up with his match that he has in his mouth. The greatest car chase scene ever. You got him mowing down motherfuckers left and right. You got him hunting motherfuckers down in that fucking factory one by one. You get him lighting a motherfucker up with a match. You got the opening shot where he just nails this motherfucker with 7 bullets. You got Cobra, Feel the Heat. You got Angel of the City, made by Robert Temper. I just love this movie. Montages, awesome 80s music, great action, the greatest car chase scene ever. Great humor. Randy Santoni playing the right-hand guy, Cobra's partner. A phenomenal, scary villain. What more is there to say about Cobra? It's fast-paced. It kicks ass. Cobra's just a movie that you can rewatch over and over again and never get tired of. As a time waster, as a movie that you genuinely want to enjoy. I don't believe in cheesy. Fuck cheesy. Fuck cheesy. Fuck corny. You want corn? Go to a fucking corn crop. Fuck you. Cobra. One of the greatest movies ever. I would kill for a sequel now. I love that weapon right there. That weapon is just amazing. I love the one-liners. This is where the law stops. And I start. Suck. You're a disease and I'm the cure, and just nails this motherfucker. I love it. 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 That's what it is. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, man. Number 5. You guys knew that this was coming. You guys knew that this was coming. Guess what number? Guess what it is. Number 5. Rambo II. Rambo II is an amazing action film that I love to death. It is most definitely one of the greatest action movies ever. It is the most successful Rambo film in theaters. 180 million in the U.S. alone, I believe. 300 million worldwide, maybe more, probably more. What more is there to say about Rambo 2? Go check out my Rambo 2 review. It's just an amazing action movie that I love to death. You know, you got the C4 tip explosive arrows. You got him hunting motherfuckers down with his bow and arrow and his knife. You got the amazing scene where he's suiting up and gearing up after they kill his contact. You got the part where he's just nailing all these motherfuckers with a helicopter, with missiles and with the minigun. You got him gearing up for battle in the beginning with that amazing Jerry Goldsmith score. Go look it up. It's called Preparation. You got awesome one-liners that would have been amazing to see in the theaters. Murdoch, I'm coming to get you. And then he just goes out, and then they start killing motherfuckers. You got the ending where he just gives that strong political message that I love. I love this movie to death. This is a movie that I rewatch millions of times over and over again, and I love. On to the next. First Blood. First Blood. What more is there to say about First Blood? Stallone deserves an Oscar for First Blood. It's just an amazing movie. You got great action scenes. And here's the thing: this movie is not wall to wall action. And it's not even about that. Compared to the other full Rambo films, this movie, there's not nearly as much action, except for maybe Last Blood. But this one does have a lot of action as well. But the thing that makes it special is the portrayal of the character by Stallone himself, bringing justice to Vietnam veterans returning to the States, feeling like shit, and showcasing who what they must be feeling inside and on the outside. Great action, hunting them motherfuckers down in the forest, beating the shit out of every cop in the police station. You got the part where he's just going to fucking town. Literally, he's just destroying the whole fucking town with his gun. I love it. Samuel Colonel Troutman, an amazing character, just a phenomenal movie that I fucking love. This was the first American film that I watched. This was the first Stallone movie that I watched, and it has a special place in my heart. I absolutely love First Blood. Great acting at the end. Beautiful song. One of my favorite songs ever. It's a Long Road. That I listen to every month, every week. I love the Rambo character. I love the best action movies ever made. Nothing could ever top a Rambo film, ever, except for one movie, which I'll get to. Number 3, Rambo IV. I got to see this in the theater with my dad. I love Rambo IV. Rambo IV is one of the best action movies of this time. I think it is the best action movie in the last 20 years. In the last 20 years, Rambo IV is the greatest action movie. Rambo IV is a movie that I love so much. You got the 50 caliber massacre, which I think is the greatest action scene in action movie history. A phenomenal classic that I love to death. I love the part where he just rips this motherfucker's throat out. I love the violence. I love the score by Brian Tyler. Main title, Battle of Diago. Attack on the Village, Hunting the Mercenaries, ending title, you name it. But these are musical pieces that I end up listening just without watching the movie. But I watched this movie a million times. Never get tired of watching this film. I love the story. After Rambo 3, 20 years later, the beast finally gets unleashed. All the anger, all the rage. Rambo no longer believes in God. He believes that peace is an accident, war is intentional. The ending, you get to see the God of War up at the mountain, just raining on all these motherfuckers, cold-blooded villains. Just amazing graphic and violence and brutality that I love about this movie that you're never ever gonna see again in this time period. You're just not. These movies are just Rambo 4 is just so brutal. You got it all, man. Stallone is in phenomenal shape. I think that everyone talks about Rambo 3 and Rocky 4 as being his best physical shape. I would put Rambo 4 up there as well as one of the best looking physiques that Stallone has had. Absolutely adore Rambo 4. Just so brutal, so violent, awesome action. The film isn't that long. My favorite movie character of all time comes home, a great ending. Until we get to see him again for Rambo 5. Watching this in the theater was just like a gift from God. That's why I say that I'm beyond blessed, because these movies, these characters, this guy right there that you guys see right there above me, is a fucking icon. Sorry, Arnold, you're nowhere near Stallone's caliber. You're nowhere near as good as Stallone when it comes to the action movies or the action genre or acting in general. That's just it for me. Rambo 4 tops anything that has been done by Hollywood today. And hell, the last 20 years. I absolutely love Rambo 4, an all-out classic. I'm just repeating myself. Let's move on. Many of you guys will see this coming. Some of you won't. My number 2, Rambo 3. Rambo 3, what more is there to say about Rambo 3? The personification of 80s action, of 80s. I love the continuation of the character. You got my childhood action hero, my favorite actor, my favorite movie character of all time, in the best shape of his life, kicking ass and taking names. What more could I ask for? An awesome, brilliantly underrated score by Jerry Goldsmith, once again, that I love to death and is disrespected by pretty much everyone. I love it. You get him trying to. The first time was for himself. The second time was for his country. This time it's for his friend. I love the knife. I love the slice physique. I love the action scenes. I love the fact that there was no CGI. Every explosion, every gun, every castle was all real. Everything was used with practical effects. I love the desert setting. The score fits the movie like a glove in the fact that it feels like it's it kind of personifies the desert in the hot environment, the setting. I love the action. You get a great underrated villain. You get so much action, him nailing motherfuckers. You see 4-tip explosive arrows to hunting down motherfuckers in caves. You get him looking for fucking mimes. I love that scene. You get him performing self-surgery, which is amazing. I love that scene to death. Pretty violent, brutal. Um, I love Samuel Troutman. I love the guy that plays the kid. I love the guy that plays the contact. I love the stick fight at the beginning. I love the hard work that went into making this movie. This movie at the time was the movie that had the biggest budget behind it when it comes to an action film. $63 million. Phenomenal film. It's a shame that this movie flopped at the box office. I love Rambo 3 so much. This is a film that I would kill to see in the theaters. One of my favorite. This movie is one of my favorite action movies ever, along with these top three: Rambo 4, Rambo 3, and my number one, which I'll get to right now. But Rambo 4 and Rambo 3 are sometimes they flip flop. Sometimes when I watch Rambo 3, I say this one is just the best Rambo film, bar none. Then I watch Rambo 4, then Rambo 4 becomes my number two, and it's like this is the greatest action movie ever. So those two are pretty much tied for number two. But if I had to put them, it would be Rambo 3, then Rambo 4. Love those movies to death. And speaking of Rambo 3 and Rambo 4, these are films that I watch whenever there's a big event happening. When I graduated, guess what I watched? Rambo 4, and then First Blood. Rambo 4 for my birthday. Guess what I watched? Rambo 4. I'm bored and I'm tired. Guess what I watch? Rambo 4. With my dad's birthday, guess what we do? We watch Rambo 4 because he loves Rambo 4 as much as me. So every time there's been an event, a big massive event, an important day in my life, guess what I come home to watch right after? Rambo 4, because Rambo 4 feels like home. This is what it's all about for me. Absolutely fucking love Rambo 4. On to Rambo 4 and Rambo 3. I love Rambo 3. These are films that I grew up watching millions of times. Whenever I get tired of them, I feel blessed that I got to just grow up watching these icons that I love, and having such an amazing childhood because of them. Number one, Aliens. What more is there to say? I love Aliens. Aliens is the only film that could possibly top a Rambo film, in my opinion. Aliens is flawless. Aliens is perfect. Brilliant continuation of the story by James Cameron from Ridley Scott's Alien. Great character. I love Vasquez. Vasquez is the greatest female character of all time. I love her. You got Hicks. You got Bishop. You got Apone. You got Witzbasky. You got Hudson, which I love. May he rest in peace, Bill Paxton. This movie's flawless. You got awesome action. You got great, brilliant practical score. You got an amazing alien queen that looks so real, made with practical effects. I mean, Jesus Christ, Aliens is a perfect flawless film. There's nothing wrong with it, man. I love Aliens to a fucking death. Aliens is Aliens. I love the movie poster. I love Ripley. Fuck Alien 3 and fuck Alien Resurrection and fuck Prometheus and fuck Alien Covenant. The Alien franchise died with Alien 2. Aliens. Great action, great characters, great practical effects, badass characters. What more is there to say? I absolutely love Aliens. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below which are your favorite action movies and which are your favorite movies in general. One day I will be doing a top 20, top 30, top 50. Hope you guys enjoyed, because I know that I did. My favorite action movies of all time. I was lucky enough to grow up watching all these movies and loving them so much. My childhood, my adulthood for that matter, wouldn't be what it is without these movies in my life. I love them all, man. So that's right. Number 12, Terminator 2. Number 11, Blade 2. Number 10, Ombok. Number 9, Predator. Number 8, Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Number 7, Demolition Man. Number 6, Cobra. Number 5, Rambo 2. Number 4, First Blood. Number 3, Rambo 4. Number 2, Rambo 3. Number 1, Aliens. The greatest action films of all time ever made. My top 12 favorite action movies of all time. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's what it's all about right there.